Hey, what's up everybody, Agamon's here today. Today we're going to be taking a look at endgame top tier weapons that are basically just underrated. They're not really used because maybe the stat requirement to wear them or use them is just really low, not really that great. But the stats are really good in my opinion, and these are basically replaceable weapons for your generic Welding Knife, Forgotten Gladius, Petra's Anchor perhaps. You don't have to use those weapons, like you don't have to. You can kind of use these as a replacement if you need to, if the enchantment's better, right? So a good example would be Champion Sword, right? It's basically the exact same stats as a Forgotten Gladius. It has 0.01 less swing speed than a Forgotten Gladius, but it has a little bit more damage and it has more range. It has the original 8 range for a medium weapon, which in my opinion puts it above the Forgotten Gladius because that range is really important in my opinion. But of course, it's up to interpretation which one you think is better. Maybe you think the 0.01 swing speed is better plus the 13% pen it has. But you see what I'm saying? Like you could replace the Forgotten Gladius with a Champion Sword and I guarantee you won't notice a difference. So if you get like Obfuscation Champion Sword, that thing's actually like basically a top tier weapon. You should definitely go for those, or like Providence Swords, etc., right? Note, this was made before the update. Another example would be the Inquisitor Straight sword, which is basically just the alloy dark steel greatsword, but the dark steel has like 5% more damage and the Inquisitor sword is 5% faster, same weight and range. The critical is different. You don't have the unique critical of the dark alloy greatsword, but however, again, if you value speed, literally the Inquisitor sword is basically just faster than the dark alloy greatsword, just a little bit less damage. So it's like the Forgotten Gladius compared to the Shattered Katana basically. And I don't see a lot of people using the Inquisitor Straight sword. A lot of people use the dark alloy, but like they look at Inquisitor Straight sword with the same enchantment and they'll be like, what? No, that's worse. But in reality, you could argue that it's better in my opinion. Now the next one is a little bit less effective compared to its top tier competitors like Welding Knife. I'm going to be talking about the Gilded Knife, which is actually what I use. This one's a little bit more tough to argue because it does have a noticeably less amount of damage and even a little bit less swing speed, but it's still a great alternative, right? So it does like 24.5 damage, while the Welding Knife is like 27 and also has pen, like 10% pen, but it's pretty much unnoticeable in the grand scheme of things due to the meta, right? A lot of people have like high amounts of physical reduction, so that like 2.5 damage difference is kind of like reduced to like 1.5 or 1.25 due to physical damage resistance. And I would call it like the little brother compared to the Welding Knife or the alloyed Welding Knife. I think it's like the 4th best dagger in my opinion because it's still very solid, and with my Providence Thorn on it, it does work. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the damage is really that much noticeable in the grand scheme of things anyway. Like 1 damage, okay, you're not going to notice that. It's probably like 1 M1 after like 20 hits that you're missing out on. Now, another weapon that a lot of people don't look at is the Central Dirk. It's pretty much the same thing as a Gilded Knife, but better in every way, and has 7 range for a dagger. You know how crazy that is? Like 7 range for a dagger, dude. Like that's really good. So if you find a Central Dirk like enchantment, bro, grab that if it's like a decent enchant. Like that's a really good dagger, dude. Like it's really useful. That 7 range is crazy in my opinion, and it has a really fast swing speed too, bro. Grab that. What are you doing? Finally, we have the alloyed Canorian axe, which is again the same thing as a Pale Morning, except it has no end lag and has more pen and chip damage than the Pale Morning, which the Pale Morning has 0 of that, by the way, but it has less range and weight. So this one you kind of have to trade a few things out, right? But again, exact same damage as a Pale Morning, just no end lag. Again, it's up to you because a lot of people are like, oh well, like it doesn't have those like shield breaker talents, the critical has less range. However, if you see an alloyed Canorian axe and it has an enchant that you like, man, grab that, dude. It's basically just a Pale Morning enchant, and a lot of people put high value on those Pale Morning enchants, so it could be pretty goated for you depending on your build, right? It does have a different critical though, so again, just really up to you. Anyway guys, I just want to show you a couple weapons that I just don't see people using that much because everyone just goes straight for the top tier in the meta, but there are a lot of alternatives, and in the grand scheme of fights, those like little like 1 to 2% damage like differences, you won't really be noticing those. So again, just go ahead and grab some of these weapons and use them if they have like an enchant you want, man. That's gonna be all. I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.